12th of July, Rabbi Moore, Parsha Hashavua with Rashi.
Hello.
Hello, Rabbi. How are you?
Baruch Hashem. Okay. Everything okay?
Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. So we're on 7?
We are on Pasuk 7. Yes. 1 second. Six, 7. Yeah. Okay. I just remember now when we're discussing at the end of yesterday's shiur. But technically, somebody who does an Aveira B'Shoigeg is of less culpability than somebody who intends to do an Aveira, but he doesn't actually end up doing it. Okay? In most circumstances. Even though the actual action of an Aveira is something very serious, but since the person had no intention of doing it, then his culpability with that regard is less than if he actually had intention to do the Aveira, but he did not actually end up doing the Aveira. Okay, let's do Pasuk Zay.
V'im hayu
Hayo siyeh leish. Hayo siyeh leish.
hayo siyeh laish leish
Leish.
unedareha aleha o miftah sifat seha asher asra al nafsha. If what is hayo?
Right. Hayo siyeh means hayo is a being. It's the infinitive of to be.
If being
No, so this is like a double expression. In Shamoya Tishmu, you always have that when in the Hebrew, whenever you want to say a double expression of the verb, you repeat, you say the infinitive with the future tense. If she will in any way be married to a man, okay?
Siya is married?
Yes, she will be to a man, which means she is his.
Oh, if she will be to a man.
Right. She now becomes the man's wife, literally the man's woman. In fact, it's interestingly enough, there's no separate term in the Hebrew, I'm talking about biblical Hebrew, for a wife. A man's woman is his wife. Okay? Ishtoi, right?
If
means his
she
woman.
Be to a man, right?
Sorry?
This is saying if she will surely be to a man.
Right. Which means she'll be married to him.
And she vows and
her vows are upon her from before, as Rashi is going to explain. They are already upon her.
Or an utterance of her lips that she prohibited on herself.
Okay, very good.
Okay. So let's see. Rashi. If she will be to a man, Zo Arusa. This refers to Arusa.
And that what it means is there are two stages of marriage. Okay, there's the initial stage where she's an arusa, which means she is bound to this man, but they're not yet living together. So it's, I guess, it's somewhat loosely translated into English as betrothed, but it doesn't really mean betrothal. Doesn't normally really fully give the true meaning of what arusa is, because a betrothal is really meaning how should I say it? An agreement, a verbal agreement, a verbal understanding, trust between the two that they're going to get married. There's nothing really binding. Whereas in Jewish law, an arusa, a girl who has, a woman who has been, she's mu'ureses to this man, she is his wife to all intents and purposes. And if somebody, chas v'sholem, another man would have relations with her, he's chayv misa, because she's an eishes ish, she's somebody else's wife. So therefore he's absolutely forbidden to have relations with her. Okay?
Yeah. The im base isha nidara. I'm sorry, no, wait, I skipped the line. O eno ella nisua, or not, except.
Well, you have to add in the word, or maybe not. But ella nisua, the pasuk's referring to a fully married woman. Okay.
The Rashi is saying she's an arusa, or maybe she's not an arusa. Maybe she's in a sewer. Kishahu Omer, when it says V'im beis isha nidara, but if she vowed in her husband's house, hare nesua amur. See now that a nesua has been spoken of.
Right. Means so we see that they already this other pasuk, right? Beis isha nadara, which is in pasuk Yudalef, that already mentions the din of somebody, a woman who's fully married.
So the Khan the arusa. So here it must be an arusa.
Right.
Uva le chalok ba. It comes to make a distinction about an arusa. She'a viha uva la. In that her father and her husband mefirin nidareha, nullify her vows.
Meaning that in tandem, the father and the husband together, they have the not just the rights, the ability to nullify her vows, to annul her vows.
Hefer
But as Rashi goes on, Hafer Ha'av,
ha'av, her father nullified, below Hefer habal, but her husband did not nullify. O Hefer habal, or her husband nullified, below Hefer ha'av, but her father did not nullify. Hare ze eno mufar. See now that this is not vote nullified.
this is not annulled. Okay,
and there is no need to say im kiyem echad mehem. If one of them upholds, it's not necessary to say that.
Right, it means it goes without saying.
Right.
Okay, one of them validated the neder, which means that he said, I'm happy. Okay?
Right. Unidareha aleha.
Yeah. Right, so I quote over here, just 1 second. The Maasei, the Gemara asks, why does Rashi need to mention that? This whole idea, which is actually a quote from the Gemara, why mention Bechal? And certainly if one of them validated it, sure, because if he validated it, means he didn't annul it. If you need both nullifications, both the annulment of the husband and the annulment of the father, so if one of them validated it, right, so obviously he didn't annul it. So I quote a note, I have a note over here. Why is it necessary to mention this last case? If one of them annulled the vow without the other, it is not annulled. Then for sure, it need not mention that if one of them validated the vow, that the annulment of the other has no force. The Gemara answers, the last case mentioned teaches that if one of them validated the vow, but subsequently retracted his validation through an expert or 3 ordinary people, I mean, he went to a chacham or a bezdin, right, and they retracted his validation, his kiyum of the vow, then he can no longer annul the vow because the vow must be annulled in correlation, right? Okay, it means, okay, so you have to see the Gemara over there. Means it's got to be done that both of them have to nullify the neder at the time when they can both nullify. Meaning, if one nullifies the neder in a time when the other one cannot, right, then that's not considered a nullification. So therefore, if one of them validated the vow and the other one then nullified the vow, at that point when the first one nullified the vow, the one who had validated the vow, he can't nullify it because he hasn't gone to a chacham yet to cancel his validation of the vow. So therefore, at that point, both of them were not in a position to nullify the vow. So therefore, even if afterwards he goes to a chacham and the chacham retracts his validation, and now he can technically nullify the vow. But since the first one nullified it when the other person nullified the vow, when this person could not nullify the vow because he had validated the vow, so therefore now, even though this person who had validated is now in a position to nullify the vow, he's going to nullify it now, and the other person nullified it at a time when the other person couldn't nullify it. So therefore, the 2 nullifications don't connect. So what it would have to be that both of them would have to, I'm not sure it's shaykh such a thing, that each one would have to cancel their previous one his validation, the other one his nullification, and then now be in a position that both can nullify together. I'm not sure that's actually possible to do that, but anyway, but that's what the pasuk's telling you. So that basically that they both have to nullify the vow when they're both in a position to nullify it together. Okay? Yeah, one more. Let's go to the next Rashi.
Aleha,
Aleha.
and her vows are upon her. She nidra beves,
And Nadra beveis aviha.
that she took vows in her father's house.
When she was still under her father's jurisdiction, alone. Alone, meaning she was 12 years old and she now got, had now got betrothed to this man. So so this is telling you, this pasuk is telling you a chiddush, okay, that even though she had actually made the vow when she was only under her father's jurisdiction, she was not yet arusa to this man, to this husband. Nevertheless, if after she got married to this man, she became an arusa to this man, then both her father and her husband heard about this neder, they can both nullify it together, even though the actual vow was made before she was married. Okay, that's what the pasuk is telling you. Shenadra be'savia velo shoma bo'em avia, and her father hadn't heard about them. Velo hufru velo hukmu, and therefore, when she got married, they had not been nullified, nor had they been validated either. Okay, and now, let's say the next day after she gets married, all of a sudden she says, tells her husband and then tells her father, by the way, I had these Nadorim before I got married. Whew! So Kitza, they get the husband and the father get really shocked. And then they get together and they say, no, we nullify any Nadorim you had, even those you made before you got married. And that's the next pasuk is going to tell us they can do that. And certainly, any neder which she makes now, when she is still in a status of being an arusa, she's not fully married to her husband, and she's still not reached the age of 12 and a half, because once she reaches the age of 12 and a half, she's no longer under the father's jurisdiction. So if you follow those conditions, meaning she's an arusa, not fully married to her husband, and she's not yet the age of 12 and a half, she's still considered a nara, then both the father and the husband together can nullify the vow in tandem, meaning you need both of them to nullify the vow, as we're going to see in the next pasuk. Meir, please. Pasuk Ches.
Be right back.
Okay. Says V'Shamayisha B'Yom Shamo V'Hecherish La V'Kamu Nidareha V'Esareha Asher Asra Al Nafsha Yakumu. Okay, so let's see. Her husband heard on the day of his hearing, I guess, and
Husband heard on the day of his hearing. We'll see. Okay, it means the pasuk's telling you it's got to be on that day.
oh,
Means only on B'Yom Shammai, only the day of his hearing the vow does he have the ability to annul the annul the vow.
Okay. Let's see. The Kamu, he got up No, Kamu,
No,
he
no, no.
raised.
No, Hecharish line, he was quiet to her.
No, he was quiet to her.
The
Okay.
Kamu Nidoreha, her vows will be upheld.
Oh, okay. Her vows will be upheld. Okay. Ve'esareha. And Esareha are prohibitions. Her prohibition. Oh, this was part of her vow. She prohibited herself from something, I guess. And that which she prohibited will Yakuma will stand. Okay. So if she
Sorry?
so if
Yeah.
she took a vow of prohibition of some nature,
Right. Then it says, 1 second. So Vecharish la Kamu Nidoreha, her vows will be upheld. Ve'esareha she'asar nafsha. And any prohibition she was bound upon herself, Yakumu will be upheld.
will be upheld no matter what, I guess. Okay. Okay, so there is one Rashi, Vishama Isha Gomer. Okay, and her husband heard. Okay, let's see. Hare lecha she'im kiyem habal shehu kayam. So
If
here,
the husband validated the vow, then his validation stands and prevents the father from nullifying the vow.
oh, okay.
Means that Dafka gotta both be able to be in a situation. First of all, you need the nullification of both of them,
Right.
and also obviously that one of them validates it. That's messed it up for the other one.
Ah, okay. Oh, that's it. Okay. Since need.
Okay, is Lou back?
Not yet.
Okay, so let's continue. Pasuk test.
Okay, Tess. The Ibiyom Shemoa Isha Yani Ota V'Hefer Et Nidareha Asher Aleha V'Et Mivta Shvateha Asher Asra Al Nafsha V'Hashem Yislach La. Okay, so if on that day her husband hears her husband hears Yani Ota.
So just 1 second.
Okay.
So let me go. No. So, yeah, sorry about that.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Okay. If on the day that her husband hears Yoni Yosa, he holds her back from the Neder. How so? The Hefer is Didra Shalel. He nullifies, he annuls her vow which is upon her. The Eis Mivtos Foseha, and Miftos Fosa means the utterance of her lips. Asher Soal Nafsha. This refers to a shvua. Ve'efes nidra. One is if he nullifies her vow, her neder, upon her, and the other one is Ve'es Miftos Fosa Asher Soal Nafsha, which is called refers to the shvua. That's called Miftos Fosa Asher Soal Nafsha. Then the din is Vashem Yislach Lo. Hashem will forgive her. And this is similar to what we had. We mentioned it yesterday, right? We're talking about a woman who has thought she still had the neder and she transgressed the neder, but the Maasei, her husband, had annulled it. So we said she nevertheless still requires a kapara.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's see. Okay, so there's a Rashi here.
Yeah.
The Heferet Nidra. And he nullifies her vow. Yachol afilu lo Hefer ha'av. Okay, so let's see. One's able.
No, Yochel, I might think.
Oh, I might think. Okay.
That this applies even if the father did not nullify. It means just the husband nullified it, but not the father.
Oh, okay, but
Talmud
not.
Leiva, no. Binureo beisobio. That when she's still in a state of being a nara, right? When she's in her youth, i.e. between the age of 12 and 12 and a half, she's beisabia. She's under her father's jurisdiction. So as long as she's within the age group of between 12 and 12 and a half, she's under her father's jurisdiction. As long as she's within the age of being binureha, between the age of 12 and 12 and a half, she is under the jurisdiction of her father.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So therefore you need, just the Gemara learns out, you need both the father and the husband to nullify the vow in tandem.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Let's still go further. Pasuk Yud.
Okay, Yud. It says, V'neder almana u'grusha kol asher asra al nafsha yakum aleha. Okay, so a vow of a widow or a divorced woman, all that she prohibited on herself would stand on her.
Stand.
Okay.
Okay, so meaning when a woman is in a state of being, she's in a non-married state, meaning, and we're going to see over here, that even if she's still within the age of between 12 and 12 and a half, where technically she should the jurisdiction of her father, if she was fully married to a man,
right,
and then he died or divorced her, then once a woman becomes fully married to a man, she leaves her father's jurisdiction, and mainly if afterwards the husband dies or divorces her, then she doesn't go back to her father's jurisdiction, but she remains her own boss.
Oh, okay.
That's what the pasuk's telling you over here. This is what this pasuk is referring to. As Rashi would say.
Okay, Tet and Yud. Okay, so we'll do the Rashi. Kol asher asra al nafsha yakum aleha. Okay, so anything that she prohibited for herself will be upheld on her.
Upon her, yeah.
Okay. Lefi she'ena lo birshut ha'av. Because it's not
she is not under the jurisdiction of the father.
Okay,
Below,
B'shut
and she's not under the jurisdiction of the husband either, because he's divorced or he's died.
right.
That's Rashi, important point. Ubalmono min hanisuin akosim adav. We're talking about if she became a widow or a divorcee after being fully married to her husband. Okay?
Okay.
Then, afterwards, subsequently, the husband dies or divorces her, then she doesn't go back to the father's jurisdiction. Avol mono mino erusin, but if, let's say, she got married to this man, but only into the level of being arusa, right? Then meis habal, if the husband dies, nisroikno, then she's like become, literally the word means emptied out. The chazor l'shusa'av, and then she goes back to the father's jurisdiction. So here the pasuk tells you a very important, Rashi is telling us a very important thing, that a woman, especially, obviously between the ages of 12 and 12 and a half, if she becomes an arusa to a man, right, then she's kind of halfway under his jurisdiction.
Right.
So not fully under his jurisdiction, only halfway. And therefore the father and the husband both have jurisdiction over her. So, and now, so therefore if the husband dies, or alternatively he divorces her, from the state of being when she was only an arusa, she was never an asua, then she reverts back to being in her father's jurisdiction. As long as she's still within the age of 12 to 12 and a half, she's still there, she's still got a status of an Arab. Because if she's already over the age of 12 and a half, then anyway, she's not in the jurisdiction of the father anyway. But she's like a fully mature woman. Okay?
Very good.
Stop here, and we'll pick up Pasuk Yud Aleph. There's a song tomorrow.
Yud Aleph tomorrow. Okay, very good. Yes,
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Go back, Mayor.
Okay, but yeah, thank you.